Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be looking at Meta and more specifically an article from the New York Times recently. And fortunately you don't have to listen to my voice. We have a lovely lady from the New York Times. She is going to tell us all about it right now.
I'm so glad for these new moms pimping their daughters out. Literally just refresh your Instagram Explore page. There's fresh preteens. As long as this stuff legally exists, I just enjoy it. These are all messages posted by men on Telegram groups dedicated to obsessing over images of child influencers posted on Instagram by the parents who manage them.
So just to clarify, these men that we are discussing are saying as long as it's legal. That's right, because basically there are a certain form of child images that you can seek online, and unfortunately for those who require it, it is kind of distributed for, at your leisure, just on any YouTube YouTube family vlogging page. It's basically there, or Instagram or anything like that. It is there for them if they should so wish, and it's perfectly legal, and they know it.
In addition to talking about them in a sexual way, they sometimes justify their behavior to themselves by saying that this is fine because it is on Instagram. We decided not to show these pictures, not because we're saying it's bad or pornographic or anything, but because we realized that the context is so important in these images. So I worked on this story with my colleague Michael Keller for several months. The majority of the accounts that we found are accounts of young dancers, gymnasts, cheerleaders, and they are trying to get deals with apparel brands. On these accounts, you might see, for example, a girl in a bikini lounging on the beach, or a child who is a gymnast and doing the splits.
And this is the sort of thing that we talk about every day on this channel. It's not just potential models on Instagram, right? It is family vloggers and things like that. They put seemingly innocent type pictures of their kids online, and I call them out for that because it can be taken in the wrong way, in the wrong hands, right? But people will defend them to the ends of the earth, saying, no, it's fine, it's just an innocent picture. But as this lady is saying, it's the context that's very, very important.
You saw kids in that context doing those activities, you wouldn't think it was strange, but under these pictures, you have often comments from obviously male accounts that are suggestive.
And these are the type of comments that are left primarily by men on Instagram pictures of kids in bikinis, gym wear, or anything else, right? Stuff like that anyway. So some parents will remove the comments, rightly so, obviously, but some won't. Some will just leave them. Some won't even care to monitor them. Some will think that the engagement is perfectly fine and that's what they need.
They would get explicit images, people propositioning their children, report those accounts to Meta, and a lot of times the response would be that it did not violate their community guidelines.
Exactly, because inherently a fire emoji doesn't violate their community guidelines. It's what the context is, and Meta they won't look into the context, will they? They won't look at the account that is spamming these young girls pictures with all these suggestive comments. They won't look at the bigger picture. They'll just look at one comment and say, yeah, what's wrong with that? That's what they do. So it doesn't surprise me. Yes, it's wrong, but it's not surprising.
We talked with so many parents who were just fed up with no action being taken on their reports.
Okay, so I'm going to admit I find this bit a little bit strange because the parents are fed up with nothing being done about the people who are leaving the comments, right? But then the people who are leaving the comments aren't the problem. It's the people who are posting the pictures that's the problem. Because even if you delete the comments from the men, even if Meta delete the comments, even if Meta remove the accounts, the people are still there watching and looking at the images, right? It's not the comments that's the issue. That is like a very small part of the issue.
But then there are others who really want to grow their following, and so they accept more men following them and commenting and liking their posts because that was boosting their engagement score.
And that is a huge problem. What she's brought up there is that some of the parents, they just don't care. As long as the men are commenting on their kids' pictures to boost the engagement. And the name's Ren Eleanor, that springs right to mind. If you don't know who that is a very young child who is pimped out to the max over on TikTok, and her mum just turns a blind eye to every single suggestive comment, inappropriate comment to men, because it helps the engagement on her channel and she likes it, and she's been called out about it, and then she just denied it even though she knows about it.
Sometimes if they get enough of a following, they can move on to charging, a good amount. It's like $3,000 a post. A number of brands are really relying on influencers who might have only a few thousand followers.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what to say about that. It's so you can, in fact, charge several $1,000s for brand deals if you have enough of a following, enough of engagement on your channel. It doesn't matter that the channel's engagement is largely creepy old men. It just matters the engagement, and the money will roll in. Right.
And some moms were saying, this is really good as a college fund. I'm keeping the men off. My daughter is getting this money that we're saving.
And I have a huge problem with that train of thought. Yes, keeping the men off is a very nice thing to do, but it doesn't stop them watching your child, which is the actual issue. It's not the fact that men are commenting on your child's pictures, That is, as I said, part of the issue. The main part of it is what they're using the images for, and that can't be a good thing, surely.
Then there are some who actually charge for subscriptions or go to other platforms that are specifically for creators that allow children parent managed on those platforms. And we found that people pay, $100 a month to get extra pictures of these girls. And in those cases, there were a small number of girls whose families were earning six-figure.
And there lies one of the hugest problems, right? One of the biggest problems, and that is parents who take it to the extreme, and that is to charge people to view pictures of their kids, which is probably the most creepiest way of earning money out of your child. Selling bikini shots of your young kids to men, it feels a little bit creepy. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel really bad. Maybe just don't do that. It is unfortunately, there are a lot of parents out there who are doing this now, and you can actually do this, and it's very worrying.
We spoke with child development experts and psychologists who told us that it can be really damaging to children to make them believe that their worth is tied to whether they get compliments online, especially when they learn that that is based on their perceived attractiveness or how they present themselves, and based on their sexuality.
And the psychology behind all this is really not discussed enough, I think, because as she said, it can be really damaging when the child finds out that their entire self-worth was based around their attractiveness, their desirability, especially to old men, you know, who have undesirable intentions, and that can't be good. So I feel like as well that more psychologists really, it would be helpful if they would talk out a bit more about this sort of thing, you know, get it more well known and more understood, because the whole situation is kind of half and half. There's some that understand it and understand why people are saying what they're saying and trying to raise awareness of things, but then there's always the element that come across and say, well, it's not a big deal, you know. If that person is looking at your child in that way, that's a them problem, right? That is what they think. It's a them problem. And it's not a them problem. It is the parent's problem, right? Yes, it may be the man or the woman who are looking at the child inappropriately, right? That is obviously the issue. But the main issue is if you took that product away from the creepy old men, right, they wouldn't have that material. So you might not be able to stop the man or woman doing what they're doing, but you can stop it at source. You can protect your child from that person. You don't have to hand it to them on a plate. And people don't understand that. Some people don't anyway. And I just wish that they could look at it like child protection is actually a serious topic, but some people just think of it as a joke. I don't know. Anyway, I thought this was interesting. It was nice that a big newspaper had done such an in-depth look at things and tried to raise their own awareness about it and try and spread the word. That was good. So well done to them. Until next time, everybody, please give this video a massive thumbs up, comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Until next time, take care, and bye-bye.